Um, well, here we are, Good Friday. It's definitely one of the strangest feeling Good Fridays that I've ever experienced. But maybe this puts us more or puts us closer to how the disciples themselves felt, uh, isolated and wondering and confused and not sure what was going on, what would happen next. But I'm going to read from Matthew chapter 27. I'm going to pick up in verse 33. Jesus had told his disciples that this time was coming. They couldn't understand it or believe it. And when it finally came, most of them abandoned him immediately. And some tried to hold out a little longer, but their faith, their strength, their hope all failed eventually. Uh, and so I'll pick up in verse 33. And when they came to a place called Golgotha, which means place of a skull, they gave him wine to drink mixed with gall, and after tasting it, he was unwilling to drink. And when they had crucified him, they divided up his garments among themselves by casting lots, and sitting down, they began to keep watch over him there. And above his head, they put up this charge against him, which read, "This is Jesus, the King of the Jews." At that time, two robbers were crucified with him, one on the right and one on the left. And those passing by were hurling abuse at him, wagging their heads and saying, "You who are going to destroy the temple and rebuild it in 3 days, save yourself. If you are the Son of God, come down from the cross." And in the same way, the chief priest also, along with the scribes and elders, were mocking him and saying, "He saved others, he cannot save himself. He is the King of Israel. Let him come down from the cross, and we will believe in him. He trusts in God. Let God rescue him now, if he delights in him. For he said, 'I am the Son of God.'" And the robbers who were crucified with him were also insulting him with the same words. Now from the 6th hour, darkness fell upon all the land until the 9th hour. About the 9th hour, Jesus cried out with a loud voice, saying, "Eli, Eli, lama sabachthani," which means, my God, why have you forsaken me?" And some of those who were standing there, when they heard it, began saying, "This man is calling for Elijah." Immediately, one of them ran, and taking a sponge, he filled it with sour wine and put it on a reed and gave him a drink. But the rest of them said, "Let us see whether Elijah will come to save him." And Jesus cried out again with a loud voice and yielded up his spirit. So we this day we recognize the sacrifice of Jesus. We recognize the suffering that he went through. I hope this time around we consider things from the perspective, maybe a couple more perspectives. We recognize how much God the Father suffered, having to offer up his Son and having to watch him go through all that he went through. I hope that we appreciate the willingness of Jesus to go through what he was going through for us. While this is happening, I see that nobody seems to understand what's going on, obviously. And the disciples, I can't help but think the disciples are somewhere praying to God to not let this happen, for God to move, to do something, and nothing happens, not the way not as far as they can tell. And others are saying, if you want us to believe, then come down. If you want us to believe, then do something here and now. And nothing happens. And it seems that everyone wants Jesus to do something besides what he's doing, which feels like nothing. It feels like he's not doing anything. And the disciples would rather that he fought, that he relieved their distress, that he relieved their suffering, that he. Why wouldn't God answer their prayers? Why wouldn't God do something? And those who ask for proof say, we would believe if you would just do this one thing. And why wouldn't he? I don't think probably anyone could conceive of a reason why God wouldn't save him, why Jesus wouldn't move, why Jesus wouldn't do something besides just hang there and die. And I have to say, I feel like anyone could be in that position today. Many of us have been in that position at some point, but any one of us could be there today, going through things and suffering and saying, why wouldn't you do something, Jesus? Why wouldn't you help? Why wouldn't you fix this? And or even asking a question, or putting the request out. Show me, prove your promises, prove what you say. Even what the Pharisees are saying is not so much wrong as it's coming from the wrong heart, but to say, I would believe, I want to believe, but show me something. It's not altogether wrong to want to see God move, but their heart is wrong. But any one of us could be asking God now, like, God, my faith is in a bad way. Move, do something. And we don't understand his plan, because his plan runs so much deeper than we can imagine. His vision goes so much farther than we can see. He's working and we don't know it. And he's doing exactly what we need, better than what we need. He's doing a work that we don't understand, even while we're complaining to him about the fact that he's not doing anything. He's doing exactly what we need. He's fixing it better than we could possibly fix it. He's establishing it better than we could ever establish our faith or our hope or our trust in him. He's doing a work deeper, stronger, more lasting, and we don't understand it. And they'll go to sleep tonight thinking that there's no hope, and that everything is broken, and that everything has failed, and that God didn't answer their prayers. And they'll sleep, and God will be working. And they'll walk tomorrow as if half dead, with their hope crushed and their faith broken, and God will be working. And he's always working. And it's just our vision that's to blame, that we don't see it. But he's at work. So on Good Friday, I think it's good to be reminded that sometimes the people of God pray for things that God can't answer, not the way that we want him to answer. And the reason he can't answer it that way is because he's doing something better. He's got better plans than our plans. He's got better promises than our short-term prayer requests sometimes. And it's not wrong to pray that way, but we should know, Christians, we should know that he's at work. While we're sleeping, he's still working. And while we're hopeless, he's still working. He's at work. And so I just want to encourage us that even in the most hopeless situations, even in the worst, even in our worst times, when there's, and nothing we're going through could be any more hopeless than the disciples seeing the Messiah crucified in front of them. Even in our most hopeless situation, God's at work. He hasn't given up and he hasn't stopped. And so we're going to wake up tomorrow and we'll keep praying and we'll keep working as best we can moving forward. And he's going to meet us. Will it be tomorrow morning? I don't know. Will it be the day after? Maybe. But he's going to meet us and take care of what we need. So be encouraged. Lord, when we're broken, I pray that you would be the thing that holds us together as you hold all things together. When we've run out of hope and faith, that yours would see us through, Lord. Lord, pour out your power on your people, that we would continue to trust, continue to pray, continue to serve you, Lord, through the darkest times, the most confusing times, the hardest times, Lord. Bless us, Lord, as we try. Let us see your glory, Lord. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Amen.